Hey, so I said I'd do a really massive long text post about the Born This Way ball and being in the monster pit and stuff. But I started writing it and I couldn't put it into words, like what it was like. So I thought, well, I couldn't really, couldn't really be bothered either. So I thought I'd do a video one instead, but I'll probably end up missing loads out because it was just crazy, and I've still got my band on. Basically, for like people asking questions about when do you get there, what's the toilet situation like, and stuff like that. We got there literally minutes before 8 o'clock, and there was already about 500 monsters already there. There was a girl who was in front of us, and we made friends with and stuff. And she'd got there the night before and camped, and she was number 126. But the stadium was so unorganised that people that were 500 odd managed to push in front of her, so she was a bit naffed with that. But we had an iPod docking station, so we took it in turns to play Nicki Minaj, Azealia Banks and Gaga all day, and we had raves and we're doing the choreography with her. And we only stopped the music at one point to listen to Gaga soundcheck Poker Face several times, Bad Romance and Heavy Metal Lover, because it was an open top venue, so we could hear her from outside and we were screaming for her. I keep saying it's because I'm trying to not skip any details. So we got there at just before 8 in the morning, and then we didn't get let in until about 5ish. And the monster pit, if you're wondering whether or not you should get there early for the monster pit or not, get there for the monster pit. I can't imagine not being in there. There was so much space. We didn't just stand in one spot. Like for Telephone and Love Game, I was on the barrier, like no one in front of me, on the barrier for that when she was there. And then for Hair, Princess Di and Imagine, I was about 5-6 rows from the front, and we were able to like run around the catwalk as she was going around and doing the full choreography. I did the whole Shiza choreography, Born This Way choreography, Bad Romance choreography, all in my liters, and my feet killed by the end. When she went off before the encore, I went barefoot because I just couldn't stand anymore in those heels. Lady Starlight is the weirdest support act I've ever seen. She literally, this post is going to have loads of spoilers in it, but I guess you know that. She literally stood there with masks, like loads of masks on her face, and started doing like weird hand gestures and taking masks off to music. It was weird, so we were all stood there taking pictures of us doing the poses, taking the mick out of her. And then the Darkness are actually really good, even though I only knew one of their songs. They're really good. And one of the people in our Monster Pit crew got one of the guitar picks that they were flinging in. But it was amazing. And apparently I was on the big screen during the Darkness, which is quite cool. And then there was a little wait for Gaga, but the Monster Pit had so much space. You could sit down. We sat down and had picnics and stuff. We didn't stand up for Lady Starlight either, because she wasn't really doing anything. But yeah, we sat down, had picnics, carried on studying our clothes in the pit. And then when Gaga came on, obviously we stood up like 10 minutes before she came on, and it was incredible. Like everyone was going mental, crying, screaming before she'd even said a word, when she was going around the catwalk on a robotic horse. And then she started singing, and the screams were ear piercing, and it was incredible. And I almost started crying already. And then she went round, and then we had the Kill the Bitch, and all you can hear on my video is me shouting Kill the Bitch over the top of Mother Goat. And then obviously you probably already know all the set lists, but Government Hooker, all I could think about was my dad, because he was there in the standing pit, and all I could think was his reaction to be like awkward. But it was Government Hooker was one of the ones I was most looking forward to, because I watched it so many times on YouTube, and it was even better than I could have imagined. And then obviously more songs and speeches, and then Telephone and Love Game, I was on the barrier, and she looked at my sign during Love Game and pointed at it. Whoops. And she pointed at it, and I started crying then. But she didn't say anything. And then for Telephone, obviously I got a message on Tumblr saying someone saw my sign on the screen and saw me on the big screen behind Gaga as well, which I'm still trying to find a video for. That was amazing. And if you see some videos, you can just see my blue wig like bouncing behind her. And yeah, I cried for that. It was amazing. And then when she did the Should Have Met a Lover, and then the piano came out, you know, the bike piano, and she did You and I, Hair, You and I, Imagine, and Princess Di, and I'd legged it, and I was just a few rows from the back, but considering I had been right on the barrier for the catwalk, it was amazing. And I swear she looked at me during Princess Di and Hair, because I had my sign up. When everyone else had put their signs down, that's when I shoved my sign up. And I cried at Imagine as well. And then there was the rest of the concert, and everyone had their signs up at the end of Bad Kids and were just flinging stuff at her. And she'd like skid down the bottom of the catwalk at the end of the song. I can't remember which song. I was on such a hype. I didn't really take many pictures or videos because I was just doing the dancing and just being there. Usually I'm one of those idiots at gigs that go, oh, I'm not going to take many pictures, and then spend the whole gig watching it through the camera. But I refuse to do that for Gaga. And my paws up like the whole concert. Yeah, and by the time she was back on the catwalk for Married the Night, I was not on the barrier, but I was one person away from the barrier. Like, I could touch the barrier. And considering I'd been from the barrier to near the front, and I was able to get back there, honestly, you have to go in the monster pit. I probably could have got to like the front couple of rows if I'd have wanted to before Gaga came on, but yeah. I was happy where I was in my group, and it was just incredible. The fact that the atmosphere, when I went to the Monster Ball, I went with my mum, and I was seated, and I envied all the little monsters stood up, and because I was with my mum, when I was dancing along with her, she was just giving me weird looks, and I didn't really feel comfortable. And I was one of the only people dressed up at my Monster Ball. But this one, when we were waiting in the queue, everyone was dressed up. We were asking random strangers for pictures, and my profile picture on Facebook's me with a random man dressed in a VMA outfit. His name was Michael, if you've got Tumblr. I had to stop filming then because my stepdad came upstairs, and that would have been really embarrassing. I can't remember what I was saying now. Yeah, everyone was dressed up. There was like hardly anyone not dressed up. Everyone was in costumes, and because we were in the pit especially, I mean in standing it probably would have been the same, but in the pit, because everyone had been there all day getting so pumped for it. I've been pumped since April, but it was incredible. All the paws, everyone at the end of Born This Way doing the whole thing. It was honestly the best moment of my life. And don't be an idiot that just has their camera up the whole time. Even Gaga hates doing that. Tells you to put your cameras down. Just live in the moment. Like, this is what I was writing the text post, and I was just like, I get in everything. I wanted to make a post just so I don't forget how incredible it was as well, because I met so many amazing monsters. I've seen so many posts on Tumblr saying monsters are such bitches and everyone hates each other in the monster pit queue, everyone just pushes and no one speaks, and it's awful camping, but it's worth it to get in the pit. And I didn't have that at all. We had the best group. We were all doing all the poker face routines while we could hear her doing her sound check, all rapping along to Azealia Banks' Licorice. If people would stop coming up the stairs and interrupting my video, jeez. The only down point to the gig was that the stadium had set a curfew for her, so she didn't do the meat dress set. We didn't see her in the meat dress. We didn't see her with the meat grinder thing. We didn't get Alejandro Americano, which was the one that I was really excited for, and Poker Face, which was my dad's favourite, and he wouldn't stop whinging about it in the car. But she did it the next night, which kind of pissed me off a little bit. But Zach, who was Lana Del Vogue on Tumblr, and he phoned me during it the next day, so that was alright. And the only other thing, apart from the fact that I can't find a video of me on the screen during telephone, is that I didn't get chosen for backstage or on stage. But it was still amazing to see Kerry, who's I Like Crumpets, I think, on Tumblr, getting on stage for Marry the Night. Like someone that I recognised, even if it was not someone that I knew in real life, it was someone from Tumblr. That was still amazing. But even the fact that I'd got myself so excited for trying to get backstage with my sign and outfit and stuff, it doesn't ruin the experience at all. If you don't get chosen backstage or on stage, don't think it's the end of the world because you've just seen Lady Gaga. Like, my dad was like, oh, well, if you don't get chosen backstage, then you're going to be on such a downer and don't get your hopes up. And I did get my hopes up, but I'm not even upset because I met so many amazing people. I saw Lady Gaga, she saw me. I have nothing to complain about for that. I will meet her one day, hopefully soon. Just wasn't that night, but it's still, I can't put it into words what it was like. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I haven't said. Oh, I got messages saying like, what's the toilet situation like? Basically, you can go out of the queue and stuff when you queue in, make sure someone saves your spot. And monsters are nice, or the ones I was with were lovely and save your space, and you can go there. And then when you're in the pit, they save your space again. And like I said, there wasn't just one set standing. We were, as she was going around the catwalk, we were running around with her, and because I was on the barrier and then near the front and then back to the barrier again. Very much. My only ever regret is that I didn't take enough pictures with monsters. I was determined to get so many pictures with so many monsters, and then I just went really shy, so I only got a couple. But the outfits are incredible. Make sure you dress up because everybody else is. And if you cry, you're definitely not the only one. I think that's not it, because it was a whole day and whole night, and it was bonkers. It still doesn't feel real. Like, oh, another thing that annoys me, everyone else got bans saying monster pit access and stuff from other ones, so balls, and we got one that says tender on it. Like at college, I just had everyone going, what? But, you know, if you listen to the regrets and disappointments I've said, there's nothing major, nothing that compares to the highs. Definitely get there early. Definitely get in the pit. Whatever you do, just get in the pit. My dad was standing and he didn't arrive until 7 o'clock at night, so he was right at the back of standing, and he still said the view was phenomenal and he could see her fine. But just the atmosphere in the pit, and the fact that you can sit down and rest your legs during the support acts, especially if you're wearing high heels, because I still can't feel my feet. Do something that makes you stand out. I don't know why I'm telling you what to do. Just go and have fun, which obviously you're going to have if you've seen Lady Gaga. I think this is it. I'll wait till the end of the song just in case. But yeah, this is the best day and night of my life, and I'm never not gonna be standing and queuing for days for a Gaga gig again, because the queuing was well, not quite as much fun as seeing Gaga, but it wouldn't have been the same. Even if I'd have got in the pit without queuing, it just wouldn't have been the same. So yeah. 8th of September, Born This Way Ball. Best day night of life. And considering I just kept saying, I think that's it, I forgot to tell you my backstage story. When I said I didn't get backstage, I lied a little bit. I did, but it was before Lady Starlight had even come on. I went to the toilet, and the women's toilets were like up a couple of flights of stairs and along a corridor, and the corridor had loads of other flights of stairs to go down. So when I came out, I was on such a hype I'd forgotten to count like which number of flights of stairs it was that I was going down. So I just went down like the 3rd flight of stairs, and then I was walking along the corridor, and all of a sudden I heard this man just go, "Oi." So I turned around and I was like, "Oh, are you speaking to me?" And it was a member of staff, and he went, "Yeah, this is backstage. You're not meant to be here. Where are you meant to be?" So I was just like, I'm in the pit, but I went to the loo, and now I'm not too sure where I'm meant to be. And so he had to get 2 members of staff, and I had one on each side, like escorting me back to the pit. But as I was walking back, there was a woman with a what do you call it? More people coming upstairs, just interrupting my video. There's this woman walking down the other way past me as I was being escorted out with a walkie-talkie, and she was just like, "Yeah, Gaga's here. She's just down the corridor in her dressing room. She's all ready." And it was like a couple of hours before she came on anyway, and I was just like trying not to explode there while I was being escorted back into the pit. I was like, "Oh my god, Gaga's down the corridor, and I'm here, and I'm backstage, and I told you all I'd get backstage, so you know." But then I did put it as my Twitter as a joke, saying I got backstage and I got loads of monsters congratulating me. Not quite how I wanted to get backstage, but yeah, that is the bits of the Born This Way ball experience that I can remember and be bothered to say. I could go on about it for days, but yeah.